Did you watch any of the hearing with what's his name, Attorney Bradley?
I saw a little bit of it today where he was just like, "Yeah, I did." Yep.
That was the defense's star witness.
Yeah, and you could even hear her. She was like, "Wait, whoa, didn't you tell me?" He was like, "No, I didn't." He's like, "God damn it! When is this clown show ending? Do you have any idea?"
So I guess like
we're talking about the Fani Willis case, by the way.
Yeah, so I guess the judge had like some meeting with
it was an emergency sort of meeting, right?
Bradley, because they wanted to tamp down on the attorney-client privilege thing, because the last time they had him testify, he didn't answer anything because he claimed everything was attorney-client privilege, and the judge wanted to like kind of box in what was and what wasn't, and then put him back on so they could ask him. Because, I mean, and here's a stupid thing, and they were talking about this too. They're like, the judge is kind of young. He shouldn't have even let it get this far. Right. Because at this point, the motion was about a conflict. That's how we started. That like Fani hired Wade so that she could monetarily benefit. That has proven to be false. They couldn't prove that she benefited. She didn't benefit from that. There's no conflict. So then he let them jump from conflict to, well, if this guy is lying, then that means that Fani and, Wade lied. So that testifies to their credibility, right? So that's a problem now, because it's not whether, no one cares when she had that affair. She could have had it in 2018, way before she could have started sleeping with that man. No one cares. But if she lied under oath,
right,
that's the problem. So that's why they brought him back today to try to see if those two lied under oath, because then that's a problem.
It gets their credibility. And I saw the other day that Megyn Kelly, the former disgraced Fox News host, who I don't know what apparently she has a successful podcast, but she was celebrating that there were phone records that proved that, they may have known each other before they testified. And okay, again, here's the thing. And this is what I don't think the MAGA verse really understands. It's my understanding that, let's say, Fani Willis completely lied about a relationship with a guy. In what way does this mean Donald Trump is not guilty of trying to overturn the election in Georgia? Like,
well, that's not the point anymore.
It's the delay. Is it they're trying to delay the case past the election?
Her thrown off, because they know if she's thrown off, then they have to find another DA that will take this case. She's the only like RICO person in Georgia, right?
I got you. Okay.
So that's what they will, because if they delay it long enough, that's what they want.
It's my understanding a DA would take the case, and it would just maybe take a long enough time to delay the case past the election, which of course is what nobody wants. Right. But we do have a case coming up within just like 4 weeks, right? The Stormy Daniels case will be coming up in March, and there's no stopping that one. Donald Trump has also quasi appealed these the New York.
He wants he filed a motion to block the testimony of Stormy. Cohen, the main
right. I know. I like they're gonna say, so the main witnesses in this case, the guy who actually went to jail originally on this case, you're gonna tell me he's not gonna be able to testify? What are you, fucking insane? But they're all insane. None of the things that they try to do in court have worked. Literally not one thing, because
Florida does.
That's true. In Florida, it is a little bit of a strange case, but I think you and I have talked about this before. There's just so much going on with all these cases. It's hard to keep them all straight.
Yeah. How many counts does he even have in?
It's 34 in the one coming up in the Stormy Daniel case.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's 34 of the counts.
And one.
Well, again, Michael Cohen already went to jail for
Yeah, he
this,
went to
and he
jail
got
for
out. I
doing
think
it.
it was some COVID thing or something, the reason why he was able to get
Exactly.
out, and he was on home arrest.
It is true. So, like, how does this person go to jail for doing it, and we're saying that this guy is not guilty at all for having him do it? Like,
Right, and I
doesn't make
think,
sense.
the idea is that he will be found guilty on some
Some,
counts.
yeah.
I don't think he'll do any jail
No,
time.
absolutely, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and
That's
that is
okay.
okay because I don't
Yeah,
think anybody wants to see him thrown in jail for this one. I think they wanna see
and
him for the ones that
I
really.
kinda do. It doesn't
Well, yeah,
matter.
you're right. I do too. It would not bother me at all if he was thrown in jail. But again, I think it's just he could play his martyr card a little bit earlier than he wants to. But whether he goes to jail or he doesn't go to jail, which appears that he probably won't on this case, I can't imagine he won't be found not guilty. But then the next case after that is going to be the
How does he even get to run if he's found guilty of a felony?
because there's nowhere that says that he cannot run for president.
It's just kinda
If you
crazy.
can't vote for yourself.
Right, but you can be a felon. Like, he just shouldn't be president anyway with all this debt. No one should be
Right.
beholden and have this amount of debt and then become president. But I guess that's why they look to the public to do their due diligence and not vote for somebody who may be compromised. But you would think there would be some type of paperwork saying you can't be in debt over a certain amount of money because you could be bribed.
Did the founders, I mean, really, did they really think that anything like this could be possible? And I would say they had a lot of really good foresight in a lot of things. We talked earlier about, the separation between church and state, that they had that foresight. I mean, could they even come close to imagining anything like this?
Yeah, no, probably not, I guess.
Because I don't think you and I growing up could have imagined anything like this.
I mean, they didn't imagine black folks not to be enslaved, so I guess not.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I mean, there's a wild imaginations and no imagination back then. It's just, I don't know, man. I'm at a loss for words because this is just beyond ridiculous. Because again, when there was serious news back in the day, the Nixon story was not a story for a day. It wasn't something that somebody talked about on a late night talk show for 2 days. That was talked about for years. Donald Trump does something, it's talked about for an hour, and then it's replaced with something else, and then it's replaced with something else, and replaced with something else. And it's just like, when does it stop? And I'm just hoping in November of this year, at least this part of the MAGA section, that head will be chopped off, and then we'll see what's, remaining with the rest of the body.
We can hope.
Yeah. So, all right, Lana, what do you think? Anything else to add?
Vote.